Hi there. My name is Ben Clark, and I am the archivist and historian here, and I've been shooting, recording, and editing these videos on our favorite things at the Yawkey House. Um, I've done this a few times now for my own, and for whatever reason, they always seem to break when I'm not there monitoring. Whether the audio doesn't work or there's a desync. So I'm Ben Clark, or just visual things like big blue things in my glasses. Um, don't know why that is the case, but hey, that's what happened. So I'm gonna try it again. I'm done editing everybody else's, so I just have to do one more pass at this, and hopefully we'll be done. So my favorite item. Actually, you know what? I made everybody sit in the other chair. Let me go sit in the other chair. Hey. All right. So, where was I? My favorite item at the Yawkey House. Well, it's actually a collection of items. It's a few things that are over in Lee's bedroom. We were going through a box of donated sheet music, and we were processing a bunch of other sheet music that we had in our collections that had never really gotten a proper processing. And we found some with some very lovely handwriting that said Lee Yawkey. And then there were some that were stamped, and clearly these belonged to Lee. And so we ended up putting it back in the bedroom. It's on a built-in sofa over there. And you can still see that today if you go over and take a tour. So the sheet music itself, the music that was there, it is sort of a disposable thing, right? This is not music that is classical, right? Which is kind of what you'd expect. Someone from the Yawkey's household, we're going to study some serious music, some German composers from the Renaissance and stuff like that. Well, it's not what this is. This is very much American music. And it's not classic in the sense that this is not like the hit songs that to this day are still performed. Like, this is just stuff that has been churned out in the printing press mill that they had. They were printing lots and lots of sheet music, in part because there's a demand for it. In the late 1800s, you have the Industrial Revolution, and one of the things that we might not think about, with the increased ability to pump out products, consumer goods, is one of those things is musical instruments. Things like pianos. They're pretty expensive before, and they're still kind of expensive, but they're much more affordable. And so your average middle class person, if you wanted to, you could get a piano. This sheet music, if you opened it up, it would have a chordal thing, usually by piano, like right and left hand, and then there would be a melody line, and that melody line would include lyrics, so you could sing along. But it would also allow for anybody that's keyed in C, like a violin or a flute or a C melody saxophone, could play along as well. And this is part of the experience, right? In the 1800s, into the 1900s, if you wanted to have some friends over and had some music in the background, well, somebody's going to have to actually go and make the music. You couldn't just put on a record or the radio because that hadn't gotten to the point where it was good enough. It's not the same. And so what ends up merging is a whole, social sort of reality in which you'd get together and, yeah, you'd have somebody sit down at the piano and you'd sing along. There'd be performances. This happened when you had, friends and family over, to entertain each other. And you do this for things like, club meetings, things like the Parent-Teacher Association, PTA meetings. Well, they'd have a sing-along. They have somebody come and play music. Everything from that to like 4-H clubs to sometimes governmental meetings. Music was a big part of society, and it's not just listening to it; it's participating in it. And so this is part of this popular shift that's happening in American culture. And I think it's really interesting that Lee Yawkey Woodson, this giant in Marathon County's past, this matronly, motherly figure that gives a lot to her home. And yet, you don't think of that woman being a teenager sitting down at the piano and playing, kind of disposable poppy, music. The shows that she did, which I think humanizes them, the Yawkeys in a very interesting way and speaks to a very interesting moment in American history.